She'd been missing for 48 hours. No radio contact. No rescue signal. The SEAL team had written her off as lost to the blizzard. But when 6 Navy SEALs found themselves pinned down by enemy fire in those same frozen mountains, surrounded and outgunned, a single rifle shot from 800 meters away changed everything. The shooter? The woman they thought was dead. This is the story of Corporal Maya Chen and how being alone in a blizzard taught her the one thing that would save 6 lives. Maya Chen wasn't supposed to be in those mountains. As a Marine sniper attached to a SEAL reconnaissance team, she was the outsider from day one. The youngest, the only woman, the one they called the attachment when they thought she couldn't hear. But Maya had learned something growing up as the daughter of Taiwanese immigrants in rural Montana. You don't earn respect by demanding it. You earn it by showing up, doing the work, and never asking for special treatment. The mission was supposed to be routine. A 4-day reconnaissance operation in the Hindu Kush mountains of Afghanistan, tracking Taliban supply routes before the winter weather made the passes impassable. Maya's job was overwatch, keeping the team safe from elevated positions. While they gathered intelligence below Dot, nobody expected the blizzard. Dot had hit on day 2 like a white curtain dropping from the sky. Wind speeds reached 60 miles per hour. Visibility dropped to less than 10 feet. The temperature plummeted to minus 20 degrees. The team leader made the call to extract immediately, but Maya was positioned on a ridge 400 meters from the rest of the team. Chen collapsed back to Rally Point Alpha. The voice crackled in her earpiece. We extract in 15 minutes. Maya began her descent, but the ridge that had taken her 20 minutes to climb in clear weather became a nightmare. The wind threatened to tear her off the mountain. Snow filled her goggles. Her GPS became unreliable as the storm interfered with the signal. And then, as she navigated a narrow traverse, the cornice she was on gave way. She fell 30 feet, her rifle torn from her grip, tumbling through snow and rock until she slammed into a boulder that knocked the wind from her lungs. When she finally stopped moving, she was in a narrow ravine, her radio smashed, her emergency beacon broken in the fall, and her rifle buried somewhere in the snow above her. The SEAL team waited as long as they could. They called her name into the storm. They tried every frequency, but with zero visibility and the weather worsening, they had no choice but to extract. They would come back for her body when the storm cleared. Maya was alone. The first night, Maya focused on survival. She dug a snow cave into the side of the ravine, using techniques her father had taught her during Montana winters. She rationed the protein bars in her pack. She kept moving her fingers and toes, fighting off frostbite. And she thought about her team, wondering if they made it out safely. But on the second day, as the storm began to clear, Maya heard something that changed everything. Gunfire. Not random shots, but the controlled burst of a firefight. And beneath it, American voices shouting coordinates and tactical commands. Her team. They come back for her. Maya climbed out of the ravine, every muscle screaming in protest. When she crested the ridge, the scene below made her blood run cold. The SEAL team's helicopter had been hit during the extraction attempt. They crash-landed in a valley, and now Taliban fighters had them pinned down on 3 sides. 6 SEALs against at least 20 insurgents, with no cover and no air support possible in the weather. Maya had no radio, no way to signal them, no way to call for help. All she had was her training and the rifle she'd somehow managed to recover from the snow, 1 magazine with 20 rounds, and a sight picture that gave her eyes on the entire valley. She remembered something her instructor had told her at sniper school. A good sniper doesn't take the most shots. A good sniper takes the right shots at the right time. Maya settled into position, controlled her breathing despite her exhaustion, and began to work. The first shot dropped the machine gunner who had the SEALs pinned down. The second took out a spotter who was directing mortar fire. Maya didn't try to eliminate every enemy. She disrupted their organization, created confusion, made them think they were surrounded by a larger force. Below, the SEAL team leader realized what was happening. Someone was up in those mountains providing overwatch. Someone who knew exactly which targets mattered. He didn't know who, and he didn't have time to wonder. He used the chaos Maya created to rally his team and fight their way to better defensive positions. For 40 minutes, Maya held that ridgeline. When her magazine ran empty, she used the Taliban's confusion to reposition and scavenge ammunition from a weapons cache the insurgents had abandoned. She was exhausted, hypothermic, and running on pure determination. But she kept shooting until the enemy broke and scattered. When the rescue helicopters finally arrived, guided in by the SEAL team's restored communications, Maya collapsed in the snow. She'd been awake for 48 hours, survived a blizzard alone, and fought a battle from a mountain ridge with no support. 3 weeks later, in a hospital in Germany, the SEAL team leader visited Maya's bedside. She'd lost 2 toes to frostbite, but she was alive. He sat down and was quiet for a long moment. "We called off the search for you," he finally said. "Command said no one could survive that storm alone." Maya smiled, her voice still rough. "I wasn't alone. I had my training. I had my mission. And I had 6 reasons to keep moving." She paused. "Also, I grew up in Montana. That wasn't even the worst blizzard I've seen." The team leader laughed, then grew serious. "Chun, I owe you an apology. We treated you like you didn't belong. Like you had to prove yourself every single day." "I'm sorry." Maya shook her head. "You know what I learned up in those mountains? Being alone showed me that I didn't need your approval to know my worth. I knew what I was capable of. The blizzard didn't care about my rank or my gender, or whether I was a SEAL or a Marine. It just was. And I either survived or I didn't." She met his eyes. "I survived. And when you needed me, I was there. That's what matters." Maya Chen received the Navy Cross for her actions that day. But she says the real medal was something she gave herself. The knowledge that her worth isn't determined by others' opinions or approval. It's determined by her character, her skills, and her choices when it matters most. Sometimes life puts us in a blizzard. Sometimes we feel alone, overlooked, or underestimated. But those moments teach us who we really are. They show us what we're capable of when we stop seeking validation and start trusting ourselves. Maya's story reminds us that the strongest position you can take in life isn't one where everyone already believes in you. It's the one where you believe in yourself, even when you're the only one who does. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Share your thoughts in the comments about a time when you had to prove something to yourself, not others. And subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more tales of courage, resilience, and the human spirit. Until next time, remember, you're stronger than the storm.